welcome back on the show. I'm thrilled to have you back here. It's been a while because he was promoting Luke Cage as he was Luke Cage last time he was here, but now he's in the new film Breakthrough. That is the first 20th Century Fox film to be distributed by the Walt Disney Studio Motion Pictures. None other than the man himself, Mike Colter, in this movie that is available in theaters near you coming up this very week on Wednesday, April 17th. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
Good to see you too, man.
What's going on with you? You're just traveling all over the country.
Yeah, traveling, making ends meet, man. Bouncing around, doing a couple films. Breakthrough is the one that currently promoting.
That's right.
Opened
this week?
Yesterday.
Right?
Yeah.
I just realized I said that it's coming in soon to a theater near you, and I gave a date that was yesterday.
Don't worry.
I worked 2 shows yesterday, Mike. I'm a little bit...
the audience is smart. I think they picked up on it. They picked up on it. Like, hey, we got you.
So
we got you,
in theaters near you starting yesterday. They broke through yesterday. So you are a fan of the Lakers, but... I know we had this conversation. You also are partial to the Warriors, as well.
Yeah, Warriors.
So let's start with the Lakers first. What the hell?
I called this. I mean, I don't know if I called it or said it on the air, but when the Lakers made a big move, I felt like this was possible because the West is very different. It was going to be a rebuilding stage. There's a lot of things from the management that need to be fixed. They were trying to do something that you can't just fix it. When Kobe left, it was really it's a mentality. It's a thing they have to kind of revamp, and I think it's going to take them a while.
Well, I mean, obviously, what happened with Magic Johnson was just an absolute bizarre head scratcher.
Something's wrong. I think ultimately he took the fall because. First, there was the layoff and the rest for some of the stars. We'll leave it that way.
Well, half the team didn't finish the season because they got hurt. I understand.
Yeah, that, and then the rest of them just that was it. They shut it down. And Magic, I think the Luke Walton thing. I don't think Magic was co-signing on that. I think Magic felt like maybe that was the right coach, but other people probably didn't want that, and so he felt like if I give into this, I may as well leave because. We're often running to the wrong direction.
That's an interesting take on that.
Thought, yeah.
So do you think, here's the issue, is that who's going to come as a free agent to come team up with LeBron with everything that's going on just like this?
I think there will be some people who will be interested, but will it be the people that he wants? Who's going to take the load off? And I think that's the question. I mean, I think there's like 2 or 3 people that he probably would want, and I don't think any of those players are going to come.
You don't think Durant's coming, huh?
No, I don't think. Why? I don't. Why would he? I don't know. Why would he?
Well, my whole point, Mike Colter here on the Rich Eisen show that I've been talking about here on this show with Chris and everybody else that's been calling in is I don't know why Durant would leave Golden State.
No, there's no reason. No reason
other than the fact that everybody thinks that he has to put a stamp on his own team with his own man. That his legacy is he joined the team that he couldn't beat. And needs to beat others.
He writes his own legacy. People who at home are sitting there going, well, that's great, but you can't do this. They said the same thing about Kobe. He doesn't have anything to prove to anybody. He went from a great team to another great team, and with the pressure on, he still came out as the MVP of that finals, I believe.
2 in a row.
2 in a row. That's pretty impressive because when the spotlight's on you and they say, oh, well, when the spotlight's on you, can you show? Well, the spotlight was on him. There was no reason for him to lose, and he did exactly what he's supposed to do, crush it. He crushed it.
Right. And
what are you going to do?
Exactly. Like everybody's like, well, let's see what you can do here. And in the sidecar, that he'd just be the sidekick, and he was actually the superhero.
It's a very organic team. He comes in. Curry wasn't 100% physically, and they organically flowed. And he's a mismatch for anybody.
Right.
The ball went to him, and he took advantage of it.
Now, are you saying that Durant needs to stay because Steph Curry's an executive producer on your film?
Oh, that's a good point. I think that's a good point. That's a good tie-in. That's a good tie-in. That's a good tie-in. I think
I just want to make sure that there's not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I want to always make things aware of my.
That's a good point.
My listeners and viewers.
I think Durant's the best player in the game right now, and I know people are trying to figure out who's the best game. Since Kobe hung it up, I thought he was the biggest mismatcher for anybody. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can do anything he wants to do with the ball. Yeah, he's a bit light, but I mean he defends well. I just can't. There's no weaknesses in him.
It's a big game tonight here in Los Angeles, though. With the Clippers. I mean, if the Clippers can somehow
squeeze another one,
just string another one together. Where then it would have to be at least a 6-game series that that the series would have to return to Los Angeles regardless of what happens next, putting the pressure on the team for Sunday. That's what I don't know. I'm trying to paint the rosiest picture for the Clippers here,
I think Golden State it's good for them to get tested early, and I think their biggest opponent is themselves because they've done so well and they have so much firepower. They have to get motivated for games, and I think sometimes it takes a wake-up call. I think Clip squeezing one the second game is a really good thing for them mentally, and I think people go back to. I think Curry talked about Tiger's comeback being the greatest comeback, and people came back at Curry.
Oh, I saw that.
And I said, but they forget that Draymond was taken out of the series for one game. That was a normal. So I don't,
right. And then to bring this conversation full circle, Mike Colter here on the Rich Eisen Show again. Breakthrough is already in theaters near you, and we'll get to that in a second. Is that yes, there was something strange about Draymond Green. That's strange. It was an outlier, right? When he hit King James in the crown jewels and cost him a game. And
with the tap in the back.
Yeah, and he watched the A's with Marshawn Lynch that night across the way when there was that Game 5 that went down, and then they lost the whole series eventually. But that's why Durant is crucial. Yeah. And that's why he's not just a sidecar guy who joined the team. No. That he's there now. And one guy goes down, like, say, Boogie Cousins, it's not going to be the end of the world because he's part of the mix here. That's why it's crucial. That's why his legacy is totally secured. I don't view him as a guy who's just created a super team and needs to start something else somewhere else. I don't understand that.
Not at all. I think that's just people who want bigger personalities.
Right.
He's a guy that goes about his business, and he doesn't really care for the extras. He doesn't want to talk about where is he going to go and all these ideas about, what's he going to do next. He goes out there and he slays and he goes back, and that's it. I think people want too much from basketball players. Not every basketball player wants to be an entertainer as well.
Well, I don't know if you're a golfer as well, but I did see you peripherally when I started talking about, Jim Nance is joining me about the Tiger Woods win, and you just brought it up as well. I mean, do you play? Are you?
No. Well, I live next to a golf course, and I have been planning to play, but with two young kids and trying to work, it's just like, I hear you. It's very difficult.
I hear you. But did you watch it? Do you have any?
I watched portions of it, and every time Tiger played, I'd be interested. I'd sort of tune in. I was like everybody else. I remember 2008. I was flying to LA from New York, and I remember him winning the Masters. Then I think was his last time.
Yes, it was.
Before that, and I remember thinking when this whole thing happened, I thought, because golf is such a mental game, I didn't think about the physical injuries. I thought it would be very difficult for him to get back to his prime because of the mental focus, all the distractions and time sort of, I think has sort of redirected him. And I think that's the biggest part of it.
Has anyone ever told you in your career that you can't or you won't?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, not enough, though. I will say that, not enough. I've had to sort of, create my own chips to, to sort of.
What do you mean by not enough? What do you mean?
A lot of people, they're from the outset, they are the antithesis of what people would think of as successful in certain things. Like if you're an athlete, you're too short for the sport, they'll tell you.
Well, you're hearing that for Kyler Murray, who's going to be the #1 overall pick in the draft.
Exactly. I'm sure he uses that to motivate himself when he trains. Right. But when you're a guy like me, sometimes they go, "Oh yeah, you can make it." Now you got to find drive. You got to find your own drive, because someone telling you can make it that's not really helpful. Sometimes,
Right.
So you got to come up with something that's going to help you keep going.
So tell me about Breakthrough. What do people need to know about this film?
It's a family film first and foremost. I mean, religion aside, I think it's a good story for people who are faithful and who have an undying devotion to believing in miracles, because it is a miracle. I mean, you talk about the percentages of this happening to anyone.
Well,
it's a true
this
story.
Being somebody some young man who fell through the ice.
Yeah, for about 20 minutes, and then they recovered him. My character was a first responder, recovered him about 25 more minutes, and he didn't have any vital signs, and his mother refused to give up on him, and she kept praying, and miraculously he made a full recovery, and there's not one sign of any damage to his brain or anything. It's unbelievable.
So you're playing the first responder who was first on the scene,
yeah,
and who without whose obviously hard work and dedication that the miracle would never have happened. Did you meet the actual individual that you're playing?
I did. Tommy Shine. I met him at the premiere. And yeah.
So you didn't meet him before?
No, he was in Missouri. The script was pretty solid as far as, and we talked to the real mother, the real kid, the real pastor, people who were there. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I talked to him at the premiere, and he was really pleased with the movie.
And it's, I mean, again, the cast is great. You're in it. Topher Grace, Dennis Haysbert, who's been on this show before.
Yeah, Dennis Haysbert.
You probably shared some, if you talked any Warriors stuff with him. He's
a Warriors fan.
He's Mr.
We went to the
Bay
game.
Area.
We went to the game. The whole cast went up to the box, and we went and saw the Warriors beat up on the Lakers. Yeah, actually, yeah. That's the unarmed Lakers. Yeah.
When was this?
This was a couple weeks ago. I guess the last game in the Staples.
Yeah, I mean the Lakers at
So Warriors at the Lakers.
Down here.
Yeah, Warriors at the Lakers.
Yeah, Lakers at Warriors was the end of the season essentially on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
when LeBron. That was what did we say it was? It was the 7-minute mark of the third quarter. Chris, is that what it was?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
It was that's when he pulled the groin?
7-minute mark, third quarter, Lakers destroying the Warriors on Christmas Day in front of the whole country as they were, I think, at their high water mark of like 7 games above 500.
Yeah, yeah.
And then LeBron's groin gave way, and then what a downhill.
He's usually injury-free. I mean, that's one thing I would say about him. He's never had any injuries, nagging injuries. Which is going to be a test. I mean, all athletes have to go through this. So he has to bounce back. And, groin injuries are weird. I don't know anything about those.
And then before I let you go, I do want to ask you about Luke Cage. Now that obviously it's off of Netflix and Disney is now picking everything up, is it possible they pick Luke Cage up?
Well, Disney's kind of creating their own thing right now. They're writing their own few shows now.
Right.
They got their own content. I mean, anything's possible. I don't necessarily know that it's a Disney vehicle, like as far as a tone, but anything is possible. They own it outright at a certain point. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Is it something you'd be interested in?
I'd answer the phone. I'm working on other stuff, but I'd answer the phone. Yeah,
but
I'd answer.
Because obviously, last time you were here to promote it, it crashed Netflix. Yeah. when it debuted. So
there's some fans that want to listen. There's some fans that want to see what's going to happen in the third season. I think that's where we wanted to take the story. Complete it, and that would be nice to give the fans something that's like complete. But it's also good to leave them wanting more. So
of course, I understand that. Well, which athletes have come up to you to talk about this sort of stuff? Anybody that we would know to drop some names that came up to you wanted to talk about all this stuff?
When I was at the All-Star game, I played in the All-Star celebrity game last when it was in Charlotte. Okay, so I got a chance to meet quite a few of the basketball. Okay, and I was fans of a lot of the Hall of Famers. Like Gary Payton and And old guys like Dennis Scott, Shaq came up, Barkley. These are guys I watched play, so I was really happy to meet those guys.
That's so cool, isn't that? That's great.
Yeah, Kenny Smith, Kenny the Jet was on the plane coming out with me.
How'd you do in the game?
I did pretty well. I think I got a double-double, got 11-11 or something like that.
Come on now.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I was one of those guys out there, happy to just run the floor and stuff like that. And I saw that they weren't going to play any setup, no defense really. They weren't going to kick it down the low and work it inside out. They weren't doing any of that. It was run down, shoot, get a rebound, run back up.
I've never played in that game, but I could have told you that.
You could have told me that. I thought you were going to take advantage of mismatches.
Just, how do you think Kevin Hart has won MVPs? It's not through the X's and O's.
This is true.
He's just.
Well, my first shot was a bank shot 3. I'll put it that way.
Did you call it?
No. I called it, but nobody heard me. I called it, but nobody heard me.
Great answer. Hey, Mike, come back anytime you want, please.
Thanks,
really appreciate having you here. Again, Breakthrough is in theaters right now across the country. On April 17th is when it opened up. It's based on the Christian novel The Impossible, and it stars in part this man, Mike Colter.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.